Welcome back, my beautiful angels. Today we're doing a twin flame reading. If you've been feeling a deep soul connection or wondering what's really going on in your twin flame journey, then this reading is for you. I have prepared two cards for you to choose from, card number 1 and card number 2. Each one holds guidance and insight on your connection, your energy, their energy, and where the connection is leading the both of you. So take a moment to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and tune into your intuition. Ask yourself, which message is meant for me right now? When you open your eyes, choose the card that you feel most drawn to. Remember, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates and gently release the rest. Trust that your intuition will guide you to the message you're meant to hear. Time steps are in the description below, so you can jump straight into your chosen card. Hello and welcome to your reading. If you chose card number 1, then this is your reading. You chose undecided, and the energy that's coming through shows that your twin flame is undecided and nothing is really set in stone. There are too many variables that need to be worked on. So let's pull some other cards and see what variables and messages we get. So the Seven of Cups confirms the Oracle card undecided. It's showing that there's a lot of, it speaks of choices, possibilities, and even confusion. Maybe you may be feeling that your heart knows this connection is real, but your mind is very overwhelmed with questions. Ask questions like what if, when, how, or when. And it's almost feeling as if you're standing in some type of a crossroads and you're kind of trying to imagine what could be, but also unsure of what path to take. Now, your twin flames energy, he is being marred by what he's been through in the past. He's been through a lot in the past, and it's caused him to reflect deeply on this connection. He's trying to move more into a spiritual awakening, and the process is not very easy. This process is pushing him to look honestly at his past choices and his past actions, and he's starting to realize that there were consequences that came with those choices. But in all, he's trying to look for some type of renewal of love that he once had. He's also trying to understand now that there were lessons that were involved with his choices and decisions, and they are now lessons that he can no longer avoid. Between the two of you lies the Sun card. So even though this connection does feel a little bit confusing and heavy, there is still much joy, love, and hope there. There is some light in your connection. The sun shines bright, so they do see some sense of hope and optimism in you. To them, you are somewhat of their guiding light, but you're also seen as their hope, their inspiration, and their healing. And even if they don't come out and completely say it out loud, you do bring them a lot of peace, and you give them a renewed sense of love that is possible. Now, their next move is really in the Moon card is showing that there's still some uncertainty and there are a lot of illusions. The relationship itself is still very complicated. So they may take steps towards you, but it's not really clear at the moment. They're just trying to do their best to make their way through the situation, but your spirit guides and angels are asking you to trust what you feel and not just what you see, that they're working through your twin flame to help them with their shadow work. Spiritual lesson in this connection has to do with the Tower. So with the Tower card, it's a card where it's kind of like unexpected events or things are being torn down or things are being taken away. So in this connection, the old patterns are being broken now, and there are a lot of changes that are coming, and it's going to feel, even, our card, it is very chaotic. But what this is doing, it's clearing the way so you can have a much truthful and stronger connection once it comes into fruition. Now, the guidance is in the Temperance card. So Temperance is a card of patience and harmony. So it's asking you to be patient and also be balanced and allow your healing to unfold. And all this is going to come in divine timing. This connection is more about opposites balancing each other. So it's kind of like opposites attract, but it's also learning. It's also a lesson to learn and trust the process. So the undecided card is a reminder that the connection is still forming, but there's a lot of choices. There's your choice and their choice that's going to shape the outcome. So instead of putting your life on hold, they don't want you to keep doing that. They want you to focus more on yourself. So let's pull some oracle cards and see what other messages. So the oracle cards are saying that they don't want you to wait in stillness. That's what the long wait card is saying, that they don't want to put your life on hold. It's going to take a little while for this connection to fully unfold. Your twin may be a little bit distant at times, but this is all a part of their journey. But it's something that's being divinely guided. So divine timing is also at hand. Now the device cards. Okay, so in the device cards, they're saying that you're basically playing the waiting game at this time. You're trying to see how long your connection is going to continue. You being the chaser, you're wanting to know why is love so complicated at this time. And with the runner, he's asking or saying that he's been hurt too many times in the past and he's scared you'll do the same. What they're saying in the advice cards is there's some type of cultural difference or beliefs or circumstances that are creating this challenge, but these are all going to be resolved within time. But right now, your twin is at the crossroads, and you may be also at the crossroads right now or trying to decipher. They're trying to make a choice, and there's a lot of confusion about the decision. They're trying to take their time to get some type of clarity about what direction they like to take. So Spirit is showing that they're still watching you and missing you, but they feel safer in a distance because, like we mentioned before, they have been hurt so many times. The runner fears being hurt while the chaser questions why things are so complicated. But the important thing to remember is this connection is protected. This journey is divinely guided. So you have to trust the process, trust yourself, know that reunion is possible, and the lessons of this cycle has now been completed. So those are your messages. I'm sending you so much light, love, and angel blessing. Welcome. If you chose card number 2, then this is your reading. You chose Awakening. Awakening Spirit is showing that this is a powerful time for you and your twin flame. You're being guided into some type of higher awareness. This path to awakening and going through surrendering and feeling oneness with each other is not going to be an easy path. So let's pull some cards and see what messages we get. So the first card is the 5 of Pentacles, and it's saying that either you or your twin flame feel like you've been left out in the cold, that you've been abandoned or neglected in some type of way. And you both are wanting to be with each other, but you're being on the outside looking in is what Spirit is saying. Spirit is saying that this feeling of lack is actually what is going to make the awakening and the twin flame connection come into fruition. Next is the 4 of Swords, and this card shows there's also a lot of healing and alone time that's needed. You're withdrawing from love at this time. It shows that both of you may be like just resting and healing right now. You're in this time of stillness. The connection may be on a pause, but it's not meant to be there. they were actually had no meaning in their life. This very experience is what made them open their heart more to this connection and allow an awakening and a growth to happen. It's almost like it's one of their life lessons. So the Two of Swords shows that there's still some type of denial or indecision and confusion in the connection. Your twin may not know which way he wants to go. There could be avoidance, or maybe he doesn't want to really face the truth. He just is refusing to face what his heart truly knows needs to happen. But your spirit guides are saying that this awakening is not going to allow him or it's not going to allow him to be in this type of denial and indecision forever. The truth is going to have to come through. And that is what the Queen of Swords is. She's all about the truth, but she's not the type of person that falls in love easily. She's the type of person that is very independent, but she also knows how to set strong boundaries. She is strong, wise, and very discerning. What the card is basically saying is you need to ask to see the situation more clearly, be bold in your boundaries. So stand up for your boundaries. Don't let them be crossed, but also stand in your truth, because that is what is going to shift the connection into the next stage. Now, the Knight of Swords shows what's coming next. And with this being a spiritual connection, I feel like these are two people that will be in a twin flame connection very soon. The one person is the Queen of Swords and the other person is the Knight of Swords. But this is more of a connection that's based on mental and intellectual and also like communication. But it's not so much of a passionate connection, but one that's based on a level where there's a lot of communication involved. So the Knight of Swords shows what's coming next. So that's an indication of there's going to be movement and there's also going to be communication. So once this is seen, your twin flame will feel the urgency to come forward and they're going to want to speak and act. And finally, the Page of Swords shows that even if you don't see it yet, your twin flame could be just watching you from, afar. Maybe they're just observing and trying to learn you, but they're being quiet about it because they're curious. They're just trying to kind of like size you up. So they're wanting you to pay attention and prepare to hear some type of message from them very soon. Reading is saying so far is that this awakening is only coming because it's through a cycle of heartbreak, stillness, and truth. It may feel painful now, but this is the process that leads to awareness. So you have to go through this pain in order for you to get to this level. Once you do that, communication honestly can happen as we look forward, and as well as some type of forward movement can also come about. Runner in this situation wants you to be patient, saying, please be patient and understanding. They will be back, they promise. The chaser feels like they're trapped and that they're doing they feel trapped in their emotions and that they're doing all this by themselves. So let's pull some oracle cards and see what other messages we get with that. It's time to... So that's confirmation with the Page of Swords that your twin flame is actually watching you. And they do feel hopeful that the connection will come into fruition. But they are just trying to play hard to get. They're kind of frozen and they're kind of resistant of change. They don't like change very often. They want to stay in their own state, but what the spiritual lesson is trying to tell them is they have to change in order for this to come into fruition. And they do see that you are a catch. They're wanting to conquer you, but they have this fear of losing you. But what Spirit is trying to tell them that it's time. You have to let go of those that indecision and just make the best of this, because there's no more running that needs to be done. Let's pull some advice cards and see what advice. So your twin is waiting on a reunion. Both of you have learned a lot about yourselves and you understand your connection. And this reunion will be physical in nature, but you are twin flames and you've been through a lot of challenging times. And it goes back with the Five of Pentacles where it says you felt alone and you felt like you were doing it all by yourself. And he has gone through his heartbreak. So you both have been going through a lot of things, and this has been life altering. And there's now a sense of wholeness. Now, your twin flame also is still had to go through a dark night of the soul. That's why he went through all the heartbreak. They're experiencing a dark night of the soul and a period of spiritual desolation and disconnection. They feel kind of empty, so that's why it's hard for them to try to come through. But like Spirit is saying, it's time for them to make the decision. This card is awakening. It's saying that your twin is now going to awaken to this connection. They're ready to do the work and manifest a reunion in the 3D. So expect some progress very soon. Trust the journey. Awakening is going to guide both of you into clarity, and you'll need all that to go to the next stage of your reunion. So those are your messages. I'm sending you so much light, so much love, and angel blessing.